Right, as we do every night this federal campaign, let's check in with our two travelling reporters who are back on the road with both leaders after last night's debate. Trudy McIntosh is with the PM today in Brisbane, and Jonathan Lea travelling with the opposition leader down on the New South Wales south coast. Trudy, I'll go to you first if I can. A brouhaha led by trolling on social media about some comments the PM made in relation to autism and his own family last night. I want to get your sense of the mood in the PM's camp, his comments today, dealing with those comments last night, the blessed comments, if I can call them that, or blessed, he said. And what was the view of the travelling media pack about last night's debate?
Fairly relaxed mood, you'd have to say, Peter, in the Morrison camp after that People's Forum last night. You could see those comments when Scott Morrison made that remark to the woman who was asking him about NDIS cuts. He said he was blessed to have two children that didn't have autism. You could see on social media at the time there was an immediate reaction, including from Labor frontbencher Katie Gallagher, who herself has a child with autism. But Anthony Albanese didn't pick up on this in the room. Interesting, he also sidestepped two questions at his press conference on this matter yesterday. He's left this to members of his front bench to lead the criticism of Scott Morrison. You could see by the middle of the day at the press conference, the Prime Minister had moved to shut this down by saying he was sorry for any offence that it had caused. It wasn't just Labor. We saw the current Australian of the Year, Dylan Olcott, as well, critical of the Prime Minister. They've had a conversation today about this, and the Prime Minister trying to move on from this matter.
Look, I thought he handled it very deftly today in the media, and I think any fair-minded person would say his comments were, I guess, in reference to the fact that he and Jenny took over a decade to have their family. He always refers to his girls, that they were blessed to have their girls. I think this is, again, a sad reflection of where we are in the campaign. Jonathan, what was the mood like in the Albo camp today?
Yeah, buoyant, certainly upbeat, Peter. We left Brisbane a bit after sunrise this morning, after 3 days up in Queensland. We headed to the New South Wales south coast. As you know, there's two crucial seats down there. Eden Monaro on a margin of 0.8%, often a bellwether seat, and Gilmore, 2.6%. I expected us to go to both. We didn't. We only went to Gilmore for the better part of 3 hours today. Anthony Albanese went to a local business down there and also to an aged care facility. So he was certainly on message when it came to attacking the government. It's very heavily dealt with dealing with China at the moment. Also, IR reforms have continued for another day. We had some questions for Fiona Phillips, his local MP, who is deeply opposed, or previously opposed, it would seem, to boat turnbacks and offshore processing. It's a position which was previously shared by Anthony Albanese. Interestingly to note that they're all on the same page with it now, but no one will say when they changed their minds or why they changed their minds. Peter?
Jonathan, I want to play actually your question today, a little piece of that vision for my viewers at home. We'll do that now and I'll come back to you if I can.
Well, there's been two national conferences since then, and as an MP, I absolutely support Labor's policy.
Can you articulate the reason why? So I'm just asking a question of the candidate, Mr Albanese, if that's okay. Can you articulate the reason why you've changed your mind? Because we now understand that Mr Albanese has. Why have you changed your mind?
She has answered that.
Mr Albanese, would you speak for yourself if that's all right, please?
Sure.
I, like any member, have been to national conferences, and just like we should, we discuss items, and I support that position.
Not a good look to step in front of a female candidate. If that was a Liberal male, we'd call it mansplaining.
Yeah, it was certainly awkward, which is why I pointed out that he was doing it. I suppose it's a tactic politicians use to try and get the people in danger away from the microphone. We've seen Anthony Albanese step back a few times and allow shadow ministers in to take the heat off him recently. He was trying to do the same thing, but he has the same problem, the same questions also. But it was a tricky moment for him, and he realised his mistake and stepped back rather quickly.
How'd your day play out, Trudy?
We spent the day, Peter, in and around Brisbane. A lot of time on the bus today. The Prime Minister going up to Longman this morning, trying to focus in on that scare campaign Labor's been running around the coalition, thinking they're going to put all pensioners on the cashless welfare card, down to Bonner. And then we ended this afternoon up in Petrie. So the Prime Minister on the defensive today. He did have a bit of a chance to kick the football around this afternoon, getting his legs a bit fresh. And we are expecting a big announcement here in Brisbane tomorrow before then moving into state.
No, I'm sure they haven't told you what's happening, but we'll catch you tomorrow night. We'll find out all the details then. And smart to be in Longman, lots of pensioners in that seat, so I can see why the PM was there. Trudy McIntosh, Jonathan Lea, thank you as always. Catch up with you tomorrow.